Hello everyone, AkarFire here, and today we'll continue working on my side project that has gone a little too far, called Zaris. If you haven't seen the previous Devlog episodes about it, then go and check them out, they're pretty cool. Alright, let's get to it. If you have watched the last 3 videos, you remember that I made a lot of attempts at improving the combat system to make it actually fun, but I kinda failed all the time and it's still just jumping around and shooting, which looks really bad. So, I have finally figured out a solution, and it is my good old friend called sliding. Basically, I have implemented a sliding mechanic, which not only allows you to move in a really cool way, but also speeds up your bow's charging animation, allowing you to fire arrows more rapidly. The enemies also have a harder time hitting you while you're sliding. Though, it's worth noting that unlike actual dodging, sliding does not make you invincible to damage, it's only just a movement mechanic. But it's still quite fun and is much more efficient than jumping around, so the player doesn't really have a reason to do that anymore, which means mission success. Though it is pretty hard to hit targets on a controller while sliding, so I decided to spend some time and implement aim assistance, which actually worked out really well. With this implemented, the game is a little bit more user-friendly now, which is totally a good thing. Alright, moving on, we have a mechanic that was frequently requested by you guys, and it's a melee combat system. I started with creating a rather basic spear model, which will be the default melee weapon. I decided to go with the spear because I figured that it would be more efficient in fighting these rather huge robots. Then I got to animating some attacks. At first I have created these kinda good animations, but ended up heavily modifying them, as initially they were quite static, which felt really bad in the game. So I gave these animations a dash forward, which really improved their feel. When I got the animations figured out, I brought them over to Unreal and started working on the code for it. Nothing too special here, just a pretty basic melee combat system, which actually still has a lot of room for improvements. Like, there is still no sliding or airborne attacks, which are definitely going to be added later. For now, we just have this spear which we can use to hit robots and deal some damage. As you can see, I also got some automatic targeting working, which made the combat system feel much better. But if you're really paying attention, you can notice that the enemies in the game have no health bar, and the only way to kill them is to destroy their vital points. So you may wonder, how are we supposed to do it with a spear? And here is the thing. The spear damages the closest vital point on a robot if it is still in range. Also, melee attacks and sliding require stamina to be used, but it already feels like there is totally not enough stamina for all of the things you can do in the game. So I decided to change it a little. Now, sprinting does not require stamina, and you can actually regenerate it while sprinting, making stamina very combat focused. This was made to make sure the player has a full stamina bar every time he starts a fight, cause it's just more fun this way. In the meantime, I was also improving the map's visuals by adding some new assets to it, like these small trees all over the place and this tall red grass, which adds a really nice contrast to the game's world. All in all, these were some small changes which definitely improved the map's feel, so I'm happy with it. So there is also another problem with the game currently, and it's inventory space. There is simply not enough of it, because all of the different arrow types take up a lot of space, but you could otherwise fill with some loot and food. So I decided to change the system a little and move the arrows into the queue, which is displayed on the left from the inventory menu. This not only freed up a lot of inventory space, but also made switching between arrows much easier, which is pretty cool. I also haven't forgotten about the skill tree and started adding some cool new passive skills for sliding, like the slow motion while aiming, which actually turned out to work really great. But there isn't much skill stuff to show at this point, as it's still mostly work in progress. Anyway, it seems like this is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, I surely did. So subscribe not to miss something cool, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.